There are two things that really impact me in my life. I have two children, and what affects them in a negative capacity also affects me, and I'm a pet lover.
A West Fargo woman says she's in shock after hearing about a new policy her townhome complex is rolling out.
This new policy is pet DNA testing. In other words, the pet owner has to provide a swab of their pet's DNA so the townhome owners can track down whose pet left something behind.
And this may not be anything new for the FM area, but for Kelly Bjork, who has lived in one of the townhomes for several years, it was quite a surprise. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer introduces us to this woman and has her story.
Kelly Burke is a self-proclaimed dog lover. So imagine her excitement to have all this space for her two dogs to run around. But she got an email from her townhome's management, Meridian Property, that caught her off guard.
It stipulated that all pets would have to be subject to a DNA test, and I did determine that it was a swab, and that was something that we as tenants would have to pay for each pet.
That means for people like Burke, she would be out $100. That's what it costs to have the test done on two dogs. And she tells us she's pretty good about cleaning up after her dogs. In fact, she even picks up after her neighbor's pets.
It's better that it gets cleaned up than some kid running to the park, struts through it with their feet, and ends up with, feces on their shoes. That's disgusting to me.
Burke admits her past 3 years living in these townhomes have been a breeze, and she's always enjoyed it. But she thinks this new policy is a little too much.
I think this is very extreme, and unfortunately it's just my opinion that this is a way for them to try to collect additional fees from their tenants.
I stopped by the office of Meridian Property Management, and they wouldn't speak with us on camera, but they did release this statement to us. The general manager says they aren't the only ones in the area doing this, and they're excited about this new policy. He says a lot of tenants came to them with concerns about what their neighbors' pets were leaving behind. In West Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
After receiving the email about the new policy, Burke contacted Meridian Management. She tells us all new tenants are required to get that DNA test. But she found out current tenants don't have to. She says this wasn't openly communicated in the original email sent out to her and her fellow tenants. The letter says if Meridian needs to pick up anything left behind, the resident will be charged $350, and they could have their pet removed too. The story came to us through our Whistleblower Hotline. Remember, if you need help with a serious issue in your community, call 237-6576 and leave your tip. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it.